Podcast, where we explore, acknowledge, set right, and show gratitude for our deepest, most private, inward thoughts, emotions, and experiences. As always, you can write into the show anonymously and share your thoughts, experiences, and or your story that you would like us to share on the podcast. I'm your host, K-Joy. I am here with my wonderful husband and co-host, St. Dinkins. And welcome to the Innermost.
What's going on today?
It is Sunday morning around 8:33 a.m. on this wonderful October the 27th. Though I guess you would say the weekend of the World Series?
Yeah, the weekend of the World Series. Got the Yankees and the Dodgers. Dodgers up 2-0 right now.
You know, that's pretty incredible. Honestly, I thought maybe the Yankees would pull it off last night. But do you think that walk-off had a lot to do with, like, the momentum and the mentality of the Dodgers going into this World Series?
Yeah, and not only momentum. I think right now, they figured out that, you know, when they went up against Garrett Cole, he's a great pitcher. And I think that built a lot of momentum going against him, being able to capitalize off of him, you know, taking it to 10 innings the first game. And I think the confidence of them knowing that they can see the ball. But hopefully with the Shohei Ohtani injury, that injury is a little, I think he tried to steal the base and got hurt. Hopefully that don't distort the momentum because now they're going into Yankee Stadium.
You know, it's so interesting to me that I really see an effort of the media trying not to make this like an East Coast, West Coast thing. And I think it's smart on their behalf because especially with like all of the election going on and politics and things of that nature, there's enough. I think they've kind of come to the conclusion like there's enough negativity going on between people that they want to make this more, as they said, like the introduction to the World Series, like a romance, right? Like a great story. But I mentioned that to say like, LA is so like I don't give a damn type of mentality. Mm-hmm. And the way they had Ice Cube, like for one, what's the manager's name? Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts.
I was just so shocked after the first win to see how amped up and involved he was. He wasn't usually he's really reserved. He's really like politically correct, you know, answering questions and on to business. But he was really like in the moment. He was hyped. He was telling Mookie like, "Give me my dog shirt," you know, like. And I know you got to experience it downtown LA, right? How was that?
Well, just you know, we was down there at LA Live. The vibe was very historic. There was a lot of people. You know, traffic that day was pretty incredible. Like it was just back to back, bumper to bumper, getting there. But the atmosphere was electric. We were at the LA Live bowling alley. Was watching that game, and you know, it caught us all off guard. We all knew it was in extra innings, right. But we didn't know it was gonna get that home that grand slam like that.
I knew it though. Like crazy. I knew it. I recorded it, and I've how long have I been telling you that Freddie is my favorite?
For a long time.
Freddie is my absolute favorite. It's something about certain athletes that just have like this. It's almost like the psychology is like, I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? And, I mean, he went up there with one ankle, and I just felt like it was going to be his moment, so I recorded it. But it was super incredible. I think it's kind of funny how they had Ice Cube, again, going back to that point, come out, and he kind of switched up his lyrics. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank with his lyrics right now, but he was pretty much saying, why I can't think of his lyrics he sung last night. That's crazy. Gosh, he was saying something basically like dissing the Yankees, and it was a bold move as an entertainer, but it goes back to like that LA mentality, you know, like Los Angeles really has a mentality. And, I mean, I love to see it. I can't wait till we travel to New York and just see what they bring to the table. There's, like, a joke going around. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like L.A. has Ice Cube, New York has Diddy. Like, they're going to bring Diddy.
Yeah, scandalous. Scandalous. Maybe they use Baby Oil on
Oh, my pictures. God. Oh, my God. On the pitches? Yeah. To slide it through? Yeah, the slider?
A real slider, literally. A real slider pitch.
Oh, my God. That's crazy. But anyways, it's been fun. It's always nice to enjoy this type of entertainment on this level, and it's a wonderful thing to see. I also love how like the Lakers are really you have Anthony Davis who are wearing like different Dodger jerseys every game night, and just all the support and love of the LA teams. I don't quite understand how for all those out there are like diehard Dodger fans and then turn around and put on a 49ers jersey.
Yeah.
And was that a diss?
Yeah, that was a diss.
I don't quite get it.
You know, it's funny. I feel like Dodgers and the Lakers really like both baseball and basketball. They're taking over, the sport. Out here in California, you have more of a tradition with the Dodgers and the Lakers. You see more people, coming to the games, taking over their own home court, like versus like you got the Chargers and the Rams. The Rams are good. Chargers not that good, but our stadiums don't be even at USC games, like the football games, like they're not. A team like Iowa or some other team can come in and take over our stadium. Mm-hmm. But in basketball and baseball, you don't see that because, I wonder what the history is behind that. Maybe baseball was the first sport to come to LA. I'm not sure, but it seemed like there's more of a tradition. And honestly, this is going to be probably like a bold claim. But I feel as though, like, when you have, there's a lot of white folks that really, really love the sport of baseball. Mm-hmm. And based on history of what I see, white folks, black folks, we have a strong tradition when it comes to other things outside of sport, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, like, hometown heroes and sports, like, getting behind, like, baseball attracts more white folks. So I feel like that's the reasoning behind the tradition with LA. We take pride in LA, just like when we went to St. Louis Cardinal Stadium. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people repping St. Louis, but out here we get that same tradition. I feel like these white folks, they put a lot of tradition behind sports, and then not only they're able to afford those front seat tickets. You always see the little white boy right there that's able to collect the autographs and signatures and stuff like that. And I don't say that with no ill intent, but it's just the fact of the matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like they will get a baseball, get a jersey, they'll put it in their man cave, and it'll be there for their grandkids to see, and just that's the tradition. You know what I'm saying, with baseball. I feel like baseball is that sport where out here in California, it got more tradition than any other sport.
It's interesting that you bring up that point, and it's a trip that we're able to talk about it like that, because being from California, like, that's one thing that's different about California. We openly and freely talk about, like, pretty much like culture and race openly because we can. That's just like, that's our culture in California. And that's a huge point you make, because I remember watching a game and I was just like, you almost can tell that the celebrities, the stars, those people who have inherited those season tickets, you know what I mean, and their grandfather's will and stuff, they start coming out. You start seeing those people at the games during the World Series and the big games when the money is really, running, and it is a deep history in that. But it also kind of brings me to a couple of other points, is that, you have the point about the white boys, but then, and especially for the Dodgers, there's a heavy, like, Latino support base, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think there was this other podcast I was listening to. It was a really good podcast that I need to plug. I think it's called like Blacks in Baseball or something like that. But they were pretty much talking about, like, why don't we show up to the games? Because you do have a lot of black fans. Like, we'll wear the gear, wear the hat, but we don't too much like come to the games or fill the stadiums.
We were at, but we don't even know the tradition. But go ahead.
But the thing is, what's crazy about it is we're very much a part of the history of it. You know what I mean? Like, black people are deeply a part of the history and the fabric of baseball, American baseball at that. So that's pretty interesting in itself. But I did want to bring up, there's this group called, I guess you would pronounce it like Patone, 294. And because you were talking about like support of the teams and stuff, and basically it's a Dodger like following fans that pretty much travels with the team, and they were talking about how they had like police escort to the Yankee Stadium and how they pretty much bought out all the Yankee Stadium, and it's a group, and then they pretty much buy all these tickets out in other stadiums to support the Dodgers. And so I had a question for you, though, because I know how it was when we were living in Missouri and how you were talking about, like, some of these teams, like, you know, back east or different places, they have, like, that one team that they support. Do you think that with the culture shift and just with so many changes in the United States and talking specifically in California, that California will come to a point where we are just, because we have a lot of teams like baseball, basketball, football, right? College. Do you think we'll get to a point where we have like that one team in all of the different major sports that people support? Or you think that because California is such a mixing pot that it'll always be like that mixture?
No, I don't think so. I don't mean to sound non-optimistic about it, but the truth of the fact is, it seemed like even in Florida, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like the more vacation attractive states like California and Florida and things of that nature, like, you're always going to have people that just come and, you know, come to California alienated from any tradition or anything that goes. They just want to have a good time. So, you know, that's why those Midwest, you know, mid-Texas and, you know, they have very hard, strong traditions because that's all they have. It's like family is all we got, right? So it's like that type of mentality. You don't have that out here in California. It's too much. You got Vegas too close. It's too much of a vacation attraction. So I don't believe it'll ever happen. I think we're lucky to even have the Dodgers, you know, kind of spring that tradition because you know you're not going to get that anywhere else, like out here in California.
Yeah. I kind of envy that, though. Like, I envy it that of different locations and, like you said, like those close-knit places. But, yeah. Cool. When's the next game?
I think, let me look at my schedule here.
I think the Lakers are what? I don't know if they win. They 2-0? They won last night?
They won last night.
3-0. Wow. Lakers. They said it's been a while since they've been 3-0. I'm enjoying,
JJ Redick doing this thing over there.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good. What about USC? How are they looking?
We won, but you know it's a murderer's row schedule. You know, we got the Big Ten now, and I think we just gotta be broken into the Big Ten. You know, we're competing. We have the one of the toughest schedules more than any other college team. So that speaks volumes. I think that if we could, you know, win out the rest of the season, I think that should get us ranked at least, you know, in the top 25.
All right, so while you're
the 4 losses.
Yeah. While you're looking up that next game for the World Series, because we're heading to New York, right?
Monday in New York.
Tomorrow.
5 o'clock tomorrow.
All right, in New York. I'm looking at this calendar, and we are about 7, 8, 9 days from the presidential election. It's interesting. There is such a feeling behind this. It seems like both of the candidates are really, really going hard to attract the attention of voters. And it's almost like I was talking to one of my, I guess it was called my stylist, I guess, yesterday. And we were talking about how it's just such a weird feeling, like right now, just out in the community, regarding like everyone just seems to be uneasy about the election, unsure about who they want to vote for. I'm wondering if that's mostly a California feeling. Like, I feel like we tend to not, some of us tend to not sway to either side, right? We're just trying to figure out like what's the best for life or the best for us in this life. And so I don't know, we're a few days out from that, and it tends to get a little bit crazy.
Yeah. You know, I'm not really big on politics like this, but I know that Kamala, she had like a rally. She brought up Beyonce.
And Michelle.
Some Michelle's. You know, this is not this is not me like casting my vote out there for the public, but it just bothers me a little bit that we need celebrity endorsement and just knowing everything that's going on with the entertainment industry.
That part.
She's very bold doing that. And then she couldn't. The thing about it is, I don't know if you saw all the things on social media where she was out there in Houston, and she couldn't even control the crowd. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have. She couldn't control it. They just kept rallying and talking and all that stuff. And so.
What's the flip side though?
With the flip side?
Yeah, we have that perspective, but then, is there any good to these evils? You know what I mean? Because I don't see anything better on the flip side, which would be, Trump and Republican side. I think a lot of people are in that space. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't see nothing good on his side either. So it's I'm right there in the middle. And the thing about Kamala is, like I said, this is the only way, it's kind of like putting a bait on a fishing rod, Oh, we're going to get these celebrities up here just to get people attention. We don't have nothing else in our culture that could catch our attention other than that. That's pitiful. But to go back to the Trump party or whatnot.
The Trump party.
Trump reminds me of corporate privilege. And so I've experienced trauma with corporate privilege. You know what I'm saying? Especially being a marginalized black man in a corporation. Not right now currently, but just being in the past. I made it all the way up to middle management in a corporation. So, this definitely has its pros and cons, and it kind of get that aura from Trump. You know what I'm saying? It's once he get in office, his chin going to be up, and his way is the right way. You know what I'm saying? That might be it could be bad for our nation. You know what I'm saying? We don't. I just don't want a war to break out. You know what I'm saying? I don't want this World War III thing to go on. They starting to do the draft and all that stuff. We got boys, we got kids and stuff like that, and so we don't want this thing to happen. We just want world peace.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel because my mindset is how are we at this point, as far as much advancements as we've made in just in general, technology, medicine, different advancements, as a nation, how are we at this point where these are our only options, right? And I know it's kind of late to be talking about this when we're so close to election, but I feel like a lot of people feel like this, and for some of us, we still are at this just kind of a maze or this standstill with I was talking to someone yesterday and they feel the same way. So many people feel the same way. How are we here? Do you think, this is my question, do you think that's by design? Do you think that sharp cut divide in one's belief versus another is by design? Because think about all the other people who were running and they didn't get the endorsements and the backing, and maybe they were had more neutral stance in different positions, but they were kind of phased out by this celebrity, or bought out. There you go.
Trump bought them all out. Vivek Ramaswamy was one of the biggest candidates I thought could have actually competed in this whole election thing. But he ended up jumping sides with Trump, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then even a guy from DeSantis from Florida, it was just everybody just capitulated and was like, okay, we just gonna let Trump, let him wiggle his nutsacks on our head, and we're gonna take a seat. So I don't know. It's just I see it was a buyout or something. But anyways, I kind of digressed off to that. But you were saying something about technology, of how we're here right now with all this AI technology and the divide and all that other stuff. With we only got these two candidates as an option.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all politically based. I think it was some sort of money involved, in just getting these two candidates up front. But I don't know. I love AI. I do. I really do. I feel like. Something that was said in my business meeting last week on a Monday, everybody have this scare of AI taking over. But it's not. AI is derived, the derivative of AI is a human. We control, we program, right? I'm not saying we I made it, but our minds, or the human mind. The people that are going to be left behind are the people who don't learn to utilize AI. So the people who, it was a saying, the person who knows how to execute AI will take the job of the people who don't. Not the AI. So
well,
something to be scared of.
That's scary
Learn
for
your
me.
programming.
That's scary for me because I still have issues with Google. So, I struggle to kind of keep up. So I don't know. For me, I'm not afraid of it. To be honest with you, this might sound like a joke, and it's not. Like, I'm ready for aliens to pop out of nowhere, to be honest with you. Like, it's so much going on at this point. I'm just like, bring it on. Like, just let everybody show themselves. Like, let everything and everybody reveal themselves, and that's where I am with that.
So you think aliens are behind the technology?
I don't think they're behind the technology, but I think that there's different things in play and different things that are present in this world, right? I think you have the spiritual aspect where there's spiritual entities. I think you have the human aspect. I think you have technology where AI, and I think that you have like those extraterrestrials, and then all those things that are even within and beneath, the ocean that we're not even aware of. And maybe all of these things will just show themselves and reveal themselves all at once, and that would be a hell of a story.
Yeah, that's crazy. Back in the day, like before we were even born, they had airplanes, like 1970.
Yeah.
And they were able to levitate and float you somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. They had technology, they had air traffic control, that technology to kind of guide, right? Mm-hmm. So I almost like, not going as deep as you just went about the sea monsters and spaceships. But sometimes I'm like, man, if we were able to produce such a technology like a levitating vehicle to fly us from A to Z,
yeah,
back in the day with all kinds of high-powered technology within that, then the infrastructure we're playing. Sometimes I feel like, we already know that back then in the 70s, they knew about AI. They knew about the existence of it. They just didn't want to build it out. I feel like, we progress. Kind of like Apple. They know the phones that they're going to make probably 10 years from now. It's a segmented way, and a very methodical and segmented way for them to utilize. You can't play all your cards at once, man. You can't play all your strong cards. So, you gotta, I might have some sort of technology, in the back of my pocket if I'm a smart guy. And I'm like, it's not the right time because right now we got the invention of AI. So let's just wait. But I got this powerful. I think everything now. This is, you call it conspiracy theory, but I really think that people knew about all this stuff back then.
Well, then,
they just wanted to
that would be that with that thought in mind, just with what you're saying, what makes that scary, or is that if that is the case, which I don't doubt it, I agree with it, is that we're not prepared as human beings. Because our focus, think about where our state is right now. Like, everyone's focus is either on social media, just the reels and all this stuff. We should be reading. We should be educating ourselves or getting prepared in a certain way. Because if we're able to create this stuff, then we have the brain to do it. But if we're not if the majority of the population is not in a space where they're able to control or have an understanding, then we will be controlled by other things that have understanding. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but yeah, that's a good point. All right, well, we are deep into our segment here on the podcast. I do want to get into, I guess, some random other things. We have what is it, October 27th, and it's been over a month since we celebrated our 17th year anniversary of being married. Our oldest son will be 16 on November the 5th, Election Day. Our middle son has just turned 10 years old on the 18th of October, and our youngest is due to turn 8 years old the beginning of the new year. So we are in some very deep and different territory that we've never explored, which is interesting because everything that we've ever experienced is always something that we've never explored. Right? Yeah. Like, everything that you do is something new. Take, for example, this is a random example that just came to mind, but LeBron has been in the league, and I don't know why people cringe when they hear his name. Let's just think of him as a human being. Yeah. LeBron has been in the league for a long time, and he's made an impact in the league for a long time. And he's comfortable in the league. Yet, he's never been in the league with his son. So now he's exploring a new territory, right? Maybe his choices are different. Maybe he's moving differently. He's presenting himself in a different way where he's more... his son is always on the job watching him and present. So I said that to say, like, we're in a place where we've never been before in our marriage where it's very much less about us.
Yeah, it's more about the kids. And
not just about the kids, but the territory. Yeah. Like, it's getting very tough to navigate. And I start to find myself thinking about people who have been married and raised kids for a long time. And, you know, sometimes you see, like, these Instagram and everything look pretty and all these different things. And the reality is, like, families, like real families raising kids and really grinding it out, having careers, it is not an easy, like, track or feat or anything. What is the plan? Like, how do we not lose ourselves in this? I don't feel like I'm lost in this. I feel like I am very much not aware of myself at this point, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Like, I've always been able to, like, grind it out, beef it out, figure it out. But I feel like I'm in a place where I don't know anyone who can relate to where I am. And I don't have anybody to express that to or talk to about it. And the only person that I really can express to is you. But it's getting to a point where I get tired of, like, I start to feel like I'm being a burden to you on constantly. Like, you can't just be my best friend, husband, lover, baby daddy, and all these things and not get tired, right? And I'm constantly, like, I'm going to the Lord about this. I'm consulting myself. And I'm at this point where I'm like, all right, girl, you like 37 now. Like, at this point, I'm no longer looking to change me, right? I'm starting to figure out, how do I work with who I am in these spaces in which I'm in. And you are very much seeing the ugliest side of me in more cases than not. And the most uncomfortable and vulnerable and emotional side of me in so many different areas. And it's just like, well, shit, like, what do you do? I don't know. I don't know where I am in this.
What I can say is, like, I think what people don't realize, if they actually take a skyscraper view of their whole situation, there is a whole bunch of firsts. There is some sort of first every single day, right? And sometimes when you experience things that you never experienced before, some of those things might be exciting, some things could be traumatizing, but there's so many firsts. Like, for instance, it's our first time raising a teenager. When before it was our first time having a kid, right? A baby. Then it was our first time having 2 kids. Then it was our first time having 3 kids. Then it was our first time
having miscarriages.
And then it was the first time having a house. There's a lot of first time, holding down a good career. So I think that it's not fair to let those certain circumstances dictate and put a lot of weight on, just the hindsight of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's so many firsts, and throughout all those experiences, like, I feel like you've grown in a way where these conversations never used to be deep, right? We never had no huge deep dialogue, but as you're learning, you study psychology, you in a doctorate program, you're elevating, and I feel like there's a different hunger. You know what I'm saying? When you're a kid, you want candy. But then when you turn into an adult, you want vegetables. And it's kind of like your conversation taste is, you want some deep and something real. And I feel like you really have outgrown me in that way. And I feel like my appetite now is, like, You know, before it was like having fun and, you know, just taking it, you know, one day at a time, which is it's a good to take things one day at a time. But now I'm like more future forecasting because I know the seriousness of the capacity now. I got 3 kids. I got kids that are going to be looking up to me. Got the kids Mouse got to feed. I mean, we both do that together. But at the same time, if I don't have a plan, I'm more of a planner now. Like, I don't, my time, and I think where I've grown is my time is valuable. You see how irritated I get when people aren't on time. If we're dragging or, like, it's just, my time now is so extremely valuable where I do not want to sacrifice my time for no one, you know, unless it's something that, I just can't.
And I feel like I don't feel like I've outgrown you. It's interesting you feel like that, and you know, I don't discredit how you feel, because how you feel is how you feel. But it's funny because I actually feel like in me exploring and searching for more, I'm becoming more of a burden because I know you don't have time. And I know that, you know, your focus is on something else. And I think because I've seen I've seen what it looks like for a man to have the responsibility of a family, I understand the weight, but I also understand your personal goals for this family. And it's beyond anything that I've witnessed this far in my life. So it's like I have respect for that, but then I also find myself trying to figure out, like, where do I go with my need? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where...
What you want to do is, you're thinking, it's kind of like John Hume, he said, you're looking for love in all the wrong places. Been around, seen a lot of many faces, or something like that. I don't know. But I know that I'm the one for you, and something. But anyways, like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that you're focused on, like, having some sort of outlet, you know. And I honestly, shoot, you know, the friends that you had before, you know, they will probably notice the growth. You know what I'm saying? Just in your conversation.
I could never be in the relationships that I were in before, though, because I'm not that person.
They're not going to be able to... And, you know, that's one thing, I know I'm cutting myself off, but, like, even in networking, I hate networking so much, but in networking, there's a certain class of people that you can or can't talk to, not just because of your status. It's just, even if you were given that platform to be able to talk and discuss to them, or talk to them, you wouldn't be able to keep up.
And that's not
levels.
To say that these people are not great people in their own, you know, way and capacity
and
in life.
Assholes. It's just they are something different.
It's just a different life. And for me, like, I think where I am is I'm not completely who I am yet. If that makes any sense. Right? Like, I'm not fully developed. Like, what I am on the outside is not a full portrayal of who I am on the inside. And I feel like I'm really fighting I almost feel like I'm like, man, I don't want to sound cliche, but I feel like I'm trying to break through concrete. You know what I mean? And some of that comes from, you know, background experience and trauma and culture and so many different things. But I honestly, I don't have anywhere I can turn to see me.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have anywhere you can turn to see you.
I don't, because if I did, we'll both be looking at charts quiet.
I mean, and the thing is, it's like okay, so like with my doctorate program, I go through this mental battle because I'm grateful to be there, but sometimes I'm there and like yesterday I had to leave. Like I felt like I was gonna jump out of my skin because I'm just like, can you get that door? I'm here, but I almost feel like I can't stomach the conversation sometimes because. The average person is just like they're searching for some type of, you know, acknowledgement in their career and some type of clout, and they're searching for some type of recognition. And I'm in these spaces, but I don't want any of what everybody else is desiring. You know what I mean? Like, what I want from life is to be fully organic, to be fully, like, to be freely who I am. And I keep finding myself in areas where I'm fighting against being boxed in. And I don't know how to explain that, because the only time that I can explain that is when I'm talking to you. Because I feel like when I'm talking to everybody else, I'm looked at like, what the hell? Like I'm crazy. But then I get tired, because I get tired for you, because I don't want to express to you and over-express and wear you out. And so I find myself just like in this season of just being emotional and just constant like tears, and I don't know where I'm at, but yet I still know I'm good. It's weird.
I feel like you're not being heard.
But I'm not even searching to be heard though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you are more than enough, of course.
No, I'm not. Because I think it's healthy to have, like, you got me always, but I think it's good to have some other outlet too. And I know other dude, because I kick his ass, but it's good to have somebody. You
won't even let me talk to gay dudes.
No, don't say that on air.
What?
No, don't say that.
Why? Because you like, as a dude is a dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind you talking to guys.
I mean, that's kind of a compliment,
or
though.
Anything like that.
I guess you're saying like I got the potential.
If it's a guy that's skilled in his craft, and like in almost kind of like a therapist, I don't mind you having like a male therapist or anything like.
So you saying I need therapy?
No, I'm not saying that either.
Just messing with you.
I don't know. See,
you're not messing up. No, but I guess I said all that to say that life is tough right now, and it's not. That's what's crazy. It's tough, but it's not. Like, it's really easy. It's easier in a lot of different ways. Are you leaving me?
No.
It's easier in a lot of different ways, but the more what they say, more money, more problems. Like the more it gets figured out, the more it's not figured out, and it makes me have a headache. But anyways, any last thoughts?
That was a great show.
And
it was a great show.
You want to wrap it up? You want to read the outro? You think you can handle it? All right. His time is valuable, so his time is up, and I got what I got, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time to hang out with me and my baby daddy to address some of the thoughts and opinions that often only reside in the innermost. It has been a wonderful pleasure to host you. I look forward to receiving your stories and exchanging experiences in our community at the Innermost Podcast at gmail.com or on Instagram at the Innermost Podcast. I hope you find enough motivation today to get you through this week. Take care. Never abandon your innermost thoughts, opinions, and being. God bless.